Oh my goodness. We just got a really good showcase from Capcom at the Tokyo Game Show 2025. They showcased the Omega Planetes fight in Monster Hunter Wilds. A lot more was shown than I expected, including the introduction that they show here of Dark Knight. Now, I thought, wait, this is just like reskins or something, until you realize through this footage, and I've watched this a few times now, that is actually abilities being used. So you've got your AoEs to avoid, very similar. You know, you've got your typical sort of greatsword dodge here. But then there's also abilities that are being cast. It looks like, I don't know how they're being used, actually. It kind of reminds me of how in Monster Hunter World, with a crossover where we had Dragoon. It wasn't Dragoon, it was an insect glaive, and they had like the ability to emote jump. I don't know how this is working. Maybe it's something loaded into a launcher or something on your wrist. We also have Pictomancer, which, I mean, I don't know how that's being added either. I mean, that can't be just emotes, can it? But yeah, Pictomancer and Dark Knight are being added to Monster Hunter Wilds with this update. We obviously have a Delta attack there being blitzed in the background. It's absolutely just a lot going on in this trailer. So much going on in this trailer that it's very difficult. We've got gestures being added to the game, which this one that they showcase here appears to be a cactuar spin emote, which is kind of hilarious. I'm sure they'll probably have lots of other ones. I'll be very surprised if there's not a most gentlemanly in Monster Hunter Wilds. I'd be very surprised at that. There's also some contest winners. The Monster Hunter Wilds had a contest for weapon design stuff, and that's being added in Title Update 3. This is all part of the Title Update 3, which is a free update for Monster Hunter Wilds, which is even more reason to go and, you know, load it back up again if you've not played for a while. But obviously the real attraction, at least it is for me, is having Omega Planetes as a fight. And yeah, I'm super excited to get stuck into that. It says that you need to be HR Hunter rank 41 plus and complete the main mission, What Lies Ahead, to be able to do this. And then obviously there's Alpha and Omega involved in the storyline. So if you love those characters from Final Fantasy XIV, those actually carry on with that storyline, apparently. The two jobs, like we say, Pictomancer and Dark Knight. Two-handed swords unleashes powerful techniques that draw on the power of darkness. I mean, it's literally using Dark Knight abilities in conjunction with the actual thing. It says, as part of a Bale Armor or set bonus, they can activate the unique action, the Blackest Night. I see. So it's actually a set bonus activator, and Greatsword Shadowbringer has an exclusive weapon skill. I see. That's how they're doing that then. It says Pictomancers fight by causing their art to come to life. Having the soul of the Pictomancer in your item pouch allows you to cast Pictomancy spells like Pom motif. That's interesting. And there's even a gauge on screen as well. That is really kind of cool how they've done that. And of course, there's a new Palico and secret equipment, so you can dress your Palico up as a Morbol. And there's also cosmetic rewards like pendants and gestures, they say. And it looked like player backgrounds there as well, hunter backgrounds. Yeah, it looks really cool. The gameplay mechanics are straight out of Final Fantasy XIV as we expected. It doesn't look like they've shied away from, you know, having that sort of stuff brought over. It's very faithful, I think. It reminds me so much of the Monster Hunter World crossover. I absolutely love the Behemoth fight, so I'm looking forward to this. There's also Arch-Tempered New Udra, which is available to level 100 plus hunters, with some really cool exclusive rewards as well. Additionally, whilst we're here, we might as well mention they're also talking about new DLC. There's lots of new gestures that are being added, as you would imagine. But the thing that most definitely has my attention is this cosmetic pack with fox ears and the foxtail. Yeah, there's all sorts of things. There's also a mini baby secret that you can put on the head of your secret, which is kind of hilarious. Additionally to that, in the cosmetic DLC pack 3, as they're calling it, there's also quest completion animations that are unique to this, and you can actually equip those, which is pretty cool. And if you've got your favorite character to do quests with, you can customize the way they could do fist bumps to you, that kind of thing, pick you up off the floor. There's obviously some new charms and things, some creepy doll that I don't really know what that's to do with, but it's terrifying. There's some music obviously being added. There's some more stuff like set pieces, like baby secrets flopping around. Really, honestly, they're putting a lot of stuff into the game, and a lot of it also on the microtransactions, as you can see. Customization of your tents and things with more decals, more endemic life to mess around with, portraits and frames and pictures you can mess around with. And it goes on and on. They show quite a lot of stuff. There's also some new event quests, obviously in relation to the design contests as well, which the meat sword looks absolutely fantastic, by the way. And there's some really cool looking stuff here, actually. The people that have created that stuff should be very proud of themselves. There's also some other additions as well, and some different challenge quests, as you can see. And there's also a new Festival of Accord called Dream Spell. It's a seasonal event. Basically, it's Halloween in Monster Hunter. It looks so cool. It looks so cool. There seems to be lots of things to do. Customizable armor. It looks so good. It looks so good. If you haven't played Monster Hunter Wilds yet, I would highly recommend it. It's quite fun. And especially if you have friends, like if you have friends to play it with, it's one of the coolest experiences. If you did go to Tokyo Game Show in person in Japan, you would have been able to play the Omega Planetes fight before it's even released, which is kind of cool. It does look fun. I can imagine that's a lot of fun, but I can't wait to play that on Monday for sure. So just an overview then of their roadmap for Title Update 3, which features the Final Fantasy XIV Fight Omega Planetes. That's on the 29th of September on a Monday. Then on Wednesday, the 22nd of October, there is the introduction of Arc-Tempered New Udra. Then the seasonal event is on October the 22nd until November the 12th for that Dream Spell event, which is pretty cool. That's the Halloween event. And then in December, there is Title Update 4, which they tease pretty little about, apart from they announce that the featured Elder Dragon is none other than Gogmazios. If you remember Gogmazios, then you'll know all about that. I'm not going to detail that any further. I hope you like explosions. That's all I'm going to say. Pretty cool. So let's move on to their special site then and have a last little look at what they've updated for Monster Hunter Wilds version of the 14 crossover. This then is the special site. I'll link this in the description so you could go check this out yourself. There's some new artwork at the top here, which is absolutely gorgeous, showing obviously Omega versus Alpha, and then there's a chocobo there and people riding on into battle and those tiny little versions of Omega, which is pretty cool. We've got the link to the trailer featuring the Dark Knight, obviously, and the Pictomancer, and then the content section with a few images here, as you can see. I love the details on this, the snow on Alpha's face, and then there's Omega, mini Omega. Very cool. It's just so atmospheric. I love that. It says, experience a fanciful story featuring Alpha and Omega who have wandered from the faraway realm of Eorzea, the world of Final Fantasy XIV Online. Special collaboration exclusive rewards will also be added. They say Hunter rank 41 or above, completing what lies ahead, will unlock a special extra mission in the Ice Shard Cliffs. There they are again. And this includes the additional monster Omega Planetes. It says, an Omega frame that has crossed the interdimensional rift and descended onto the Forbidden Lands, named Omega Planetes to distinguish it from the other Omega frames. So this is not the Omega that you know. It is a different version of Omega, basically. There we go. And it features a little look at Delta attack there. It says Omega Planetes will generate a Nursilla clone in preparation for unleashing its devastating Delta attack. So it creates a distraction, literally like a holographic recreation. You can see the little boxes. It summons this to distract you whilst it charges up one of its big attacks, which is hilarious. There's also the big punch in the face. It says it will also spew out Omega micros that rapidly advance upon target, self-destructing to inflict damage. And there's also the rocket fist attack there. If you've ever done Omega in any way, shape or form in the many iterations it has in Final Fantasy XIV, you'll know all about this. Yeah, and there's some other scenes there with the avoidable AoEs and some that are unavoidable that require you to actually stand in a bubble, for example, because the whole room is about to explode. Very cool stuff. It says new to endemic life. It shows a Morbol and a Cactuar. Of course, this probably means Palicos can be turned into these. And yeah, both have a unique plant-like appearance. So in terms of the collaboration rewards then, it says gather materials from Omega Planetes to obtain obtain special hunter and palico equipment as well as secret decorations. Introducing the Dark Knight Hunter armor and Pictomancy spells. They say 2 iconic jobs from Final Fantasy XIV Online join the hunt. The Dark Knight, masters of the two-handed blade and dark arts, and the Pictomancer, masters of the arcane, who can bring paintings to life, enter the world of Monster Hunter Wilds. We've already looked on the trailer and clarified that obviously it's the sword that grants an extra ability. It's like equip this sword and have an extra ability when using it to make it more reminiscent and give you some appearance of some Dark Knight abilities from Final Fantasy XIV. And there's also, if you equip the armor, a special bonus as well that grants an ability, as you can see here, which looks pretty great. It says, equipping the Bale Armor Alpha set will grant you the set bonus Soul of the Dark Knight. Activating the skill allows you to use the special action, the Blackest Night. This Blackest Night ability can be activated from the item bar. Doing so will consume the player's health to generate a powerful barrier. The greatsword, known as Shadowbringer, has its own unique weapon skill. So yeah, that's why it looks so cool, and that's how they've managed to make it work in this game that obviously doesn't have those jobs and things like that. Or I suppose it has classes, but they didn't want to add a new class, so that's the way you do it. Similar to how you would add emotes to the Monster Hunter World collab for the Insect Glaive, right? To be able to jump and look like a dragoon with the Draken armor. Pictomancer, it says, using the soul of the Pictomancer, you can cast Pictomancy spells such as the Pom motif. You can cast these spells from the item bar. You combine the drawn motifs to unleash a powerful Pictomancy spell known as Mog of Ages. Amazing. Pictomancy spells are highly effective against monsters from Final Fantasy XIV Online, dealing significant damage and more likely to inflict wounds. It makes me wonder if this means that you're going to have less success if you use the Pictomancy stuff against anything that isn't from Final Fantasy XIV, which would be a little bit disappointing, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. It does look really cool to see like a high-res version of Picto spells, though. I really wish 14 looked like that sometimes. And then other days, I'm happy with its art style. It says, on top of that, a wide range of collaboration rewards await, including palico equipment, secret decorations, pendants, gestures, hunter profile backgrounds, poses, and much more. And there's a demonstration of some of the stuff you can get, including the hunter stuff as well. Look, ooh, I've zoomed in too far. The actual frame, that looks pretty cool, doesn't it? We've got a Pictomancer brush on the side. We've got a Maw Ball. Very cool stuff. It says, points of caution, you need to update to the latest version, which is 1.030 to be able to play it. And that's pretty much it. And then they obviously talk about Final Fantasy XIV, which probably you watching this channel, you already know about. Very excited to see how this all pans out. It's cool to see how they've managed to get basically 2 jobs, or at least a couple of abilities from 2 jobs from Final Fantasy XIV. And it'll be interesting to see how integral they are to fights. Especially like it certainly looks like Blackest Night is going to be used to survive mechanics on that particular fight. So that'll be fun. Very excited for this one, and we don't have to wait too long. Anyway, let me know what you think about the collab, what you're most excited for from it, if you are excited, if anything. And obviously we should get news about the release date, hopefully soon, of the Final Fantasy XIV version of this, which at the moment just has a schedule of sometime in October. So we'll have to wait and see. Much love, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.